What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
As always, Chris, I'm doing amazing. How about yourself, though?
Man, life is good. I know love is in the air, but for the gamers who want to squash all that, smash all the roses, we're here for you. It's time to rage, baby. We don't need all that lovey-dovey stuff sniffing up in this joint. None of that. Nah, not on my watch. But I know you were very kind. You've reserved it for another occasion. You wanted to let the game roll, right? With Rage Quit, HenricK the Wreck?
Well, I mean, regardless, it's kind of not possible with two people, right? And my girlfriend right now is working an event, so
No, you're supposed to tell them. No. You
well,
okay,
you
now
know,
I try to help you out. You got too honest with our viewers tuning in. You were supposed to tell them you did this for them, not that your girl's working on this day and that you reserved it for the next day. Shame. But in all honesty, HenricK loves all of you guys for tuning in and all that kind of fun jazz. But while we're here, we want to let you guys know, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and scan the QR code so you never miss a meme, interviews, Rage Quit, and so much more. And also, HenricK is cooking up tons of amazing content, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So let's get this show started, because we always like to start off the show with a bang. We search the internet looking for viral content circulating all across the globe, and when faced with the tough choice between gaming and the seemingly impossible, gamers choose to defy logic, gravity, and sometimes common sense, all in the name of scoring that sweet victory royale. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this video sums it up perfectly.
Check this out. This TV does not have an audio-video input, but when I do this, it sends the radio signal through the antenna.
You gotta make it work somehow, right?
It feels like there should be certain games where you kind of want that nostalgia factor. I don't know. Like, I feel like some TikTok star influencer is going to see this. Like, sometimes I see people kind of feel like, you remember the projectors when we were in junior high, elementary school, and they got their Game Boy Advance. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like someone's going to see this video and they're going to go, I'm going to recreate this. But if you did, what game should you do? I'm kind of feeling maybe Fallout. Kind of gave me that Pip-Boy kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, it's already been a thing that there's an elite group of people who play retro games on the original hardware, and they're like, no, you have to play this on a CRT. If you don't play it on a CRT, you're not getting the right experience from the game. Because, you know, a lot of these games were really made for that technology in mind, where that's why some games from that era, when you go and put them on your brand new $4,000 OLED TV, it doesn't look as good as you remember, because it isn't looking as good as you remember.
Exactly. And again, this is from 1977, so it didn't have the proper TV input, but the comments were electrifying. We had the first one that says, bro, playing on radio signals. I know, man, but it's creative. It's fun. It's TikTok. It's social media,
yeah,
right?
Imagine the latency on that, actually.
Oh, for real, because a lot of people feel like we need to donate this man a monitor. No, he's just trying to do something cool, man. No one, let the guy ride. But someone had a suggestion. This is Snake. Can you hear me? So, you know, there are games that I feel like would be remarkable on that system, but then again, I don't know. I think we've all moved on.
Metal Gear Solid would be a great choice, honestly.
I mean, it was like, it's about the size of the camcorder that I'm looking into right now. That would be very difficult to be playing some Halo on that. But guys, I gotta tell you, and girls that are tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, in a hilarious mix-up, a gamer convinces his grandma that Cyberpunk 2077's Night City is a real place near Los Angeles. And you gotta love how just gullible grandmas can get. And if you haven't seen it, have a laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, see?
Oh my heck.
And this guy's a videographer. His name's Aiden Ross.
Oh my heck. And he's the one that's doing all of this, taking pictures?
Yeah, he's taking pictures, taking videos. So, you know Los Angeles?
Yeah.
It's near there. They got robots there too that help them. They're robot assistants.
Yeah, that is amazing. This is all recently?
Yeah, this was last year.
That is really advanced.
See the flying cars right there?
Yeah.
They're half airplane, half car.
Oh my God.
If that was not an example of, you know, video game fidelity really becoming really realistic, I don't know what else is.
Yeah, for real. You know, just to let Grandma know, it's right next to SoFi Stadium. So if you're driving way too fast, you know, you're going to miss it. But our generation is going to be wild, man, because this is only going to live on for so long, right? Maybe not. Who knows? Unless they get this whole VR headset thing under control, because I'm already hearing that the Apple Vision Pros are already seeing their headsets being returned because they're too uncomfortable. But we got comments here. First one that we have is, show her the character customization. Yeah, right?
So you can, you know, show her the customization of your dong, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Your mechanical dong. Aiden Ross, the videographer. Yeah, that was hilarious. I love how this guy always gets thrown into different videos like this. They're half airplane, half ... car. And there's robots there to assist you in the new city near Los Angeles. Gotta love it, fam. But also, you got people that are fueled by the love for gaming and music, and a creative gamer repurposes a classic Nintendo console into a fully functional electric guitar. Pretty incredible. So blending the two passions into one epic creation that rocks both the virtual and the real world.
Intro to the Nintendo. First, take your guitar, give the same strings and same notes, attach them to an electric guitar neck, write Nintendo on the top, attach that to an old school NES with the full electronics of a Nintendo Classic inside, attach a guitar pickup so it has full capabilities of an electric guitar, and that's Nintendo.
Roll is pulling up to the function with a guitar that you can also play Nintendo games on. That is like an amazing moment. Imagine that.
Exactly. Like, I know Guitar Hero's dead and Epic Games is taking over Rock Band, but is this what they meant by competition? Is there a rival that we don't know about? You know, guitar controller / console all in one? I think we're on to something, but we got comments, and the first one says, imagine playing Nintendo, beat a level, then picking up the console and playing a sick lick, and then you get to finesse your girl on Valentine's Day and sing her such a sweet, sweet melody.
No, this is Mr. Steal Your Girl at that point.
Ah, gotcha. Well, it looks like someone's going to get sued by Nintendo. I know. Come on, Nintendo. Let the man have some fun. This is great advertising. You don't have to pay anything towards. No down payment. Nothing. Nada. Now play it. He did. So there is a bit of grift that's going on with this video. Do you think the video's actually, you know, are we getting finessed? Does he have a secret classic Nintendo that's under that we don't know about? Is it actually running? We got to hear from you, HenricK.
I mean, considering what's possible nowadays with technology, I wouldn't be surprised.
So you're doubting
if it
it.
actually
So you're doubting this. So all the hard work that went to go circulate across the globe. No.
I believe it, Chris.
Okay.
All right.
Because my mind's telling me yes. It's definitely real. I think it's very cool. And, you know, and I love this. So what a perfect timing. Comment and have your voice heard. This is definitely a reminder for everybody that, you know, if HenricK the Rex says something completely outlandish during this entire show, I need you guys. I need you and the complete Rage Quit army to go after my boy. Okay, I'll let you speak.
This. Okay. When Chris has a bad take, call him out.
Okay, fine. Call me out. But just know, if I see your comment live on air and you try to call me out, I'm calling you back, fam. It's all love. It's all community. That's what gamers do. So keep that in mind. All viewers' discretion will be advised.
Your move, mic drop.
Yeah, exactly, right? I wish I had a reverse Uno card in front of me. That's the one thing I'm missing.
Oh, man.
Wait until next week. I might have one in hand.
Uh-oh.
But hey, HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. And I know what time it is. It's time to rage.
Hey, let's get it, fam.
Hey Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 has recently been the talk of the town. It's a departure from the previous game's top-down twin-stick style shooter, and with a jump to a different genre, it brings up the question of how they handled it. So let's go ahead and break down the gameplay and find out. The gameplay of Helldivers 2 consists of shooting lots of bugs or robots. The game is a squad-based shooter, so it's better with friends, but there is a matchmaking system so that you don't have to play by yourself. You are given a primary, secondary, and support weapon, alongside grenades and the ability to call down stratagems ranging from orbital strikes or jet bomb runs to sentry turrets or defenses. Each player will have a loadout that they will need to work towards to unlock outside the missions using the currency obtained during missions. Mission objectives can range from launching a nuke to defending an outpost from waves of enemies, so there will be plenty to do. Ideally, you will plan around the mission objectives and work out roles within the squad, but if there is no communication, simply shooting or bombing enemies until they drop dead still works just as well, especially in the lower difficulties. But why are we dropping down to planets and facing these foes? Let's look at the story to get the answers. The story of Helldivers 2 has you play a no-name Helldiver in charge of your own ship. Helldivers are supposed elite members of the military that are sent to drop down in hellpods to the surface of planets to help spread liberty and democracy across the galaxy. Super Earth's government has sent you all to liberate the galaxy from the clutches of the Terminids and the automatons. The story is very reminiscent of the movie Starship Troopers, even down to the blatant and bombastic propaganda. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
For liberty, or democracy.
Yes.
That is literally this game. Just shoves it in your face constantly, doesn't take itself seriously. One of my favorite lines that your character can say sometimes is, you throw a grenade and it'll say, how about a nice cup of liberty?
Yeah, exactly. America.
Such a wacky game, and some great moments with friends.
Because it doesn't take itself seriously, but
exactly.
It's insane, the atmospheric elements about it.
Yeah, and I've seen so many clips online of, people doing things like, get down, Mr. President, and jumping in front of a huge artillery strike that's going to hit one of their teammates and they tank it for them.
Exactly.
Or like they jump on top of the mortar that you can call down and they're like, I don't know if it'll shoot. And then all of a sudden it shoots and they all die.
They all die
laughing.
or accidentally shooting a nuke.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're getting completely obliterated. And it's actually one of the few games that actually feels like they depict the nuke pretty accurately. Like when you finish a mission, well, sometimes when that whole it's so dark sometimes, some of these elements, and then it gets so bright, when you finish like a mission complete kind of thing, you're like,
yeah.
Wow. I felt like, like back in, the Fallout 3 era, you know what I'm saying? Or the New Vegas. Oh my gosh, I already got them all mixed up, but you know what I'm talking about. When you're on top of the tower and you see everybody get wrecked.
You kill that town.
Yeah, exactly. Obliterated.
Oh, yeah. I think that really is one of the biggest selling points of the game is, all these clips you see a bunch of explosions and the ability to even call down those explosions in the first place just makes you feel so awesome, because you'll see a huge group of enemies, like bugs or robots, depending on which map you're on, and you'll just be like, I got the perfect thing for you right now. And you throw one of those stratagems, and then they all just explode immediately.
But isn't it incredible?
It makes you really feel like you do want to liberate that planet.
Absolutely. But, huge momentum for Helldivers 2, blowing through estimates with 1 million sales. And it probably would have even reached even higher expectations if it wasn't Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, how incredible is that? I'm looking at the numbers right here. For a minor franchise, if you like to call it that, for a $40 game, it had over 155,000 concurrent peak to be more than double God of War's 73,000 peak. Why do you think that's the case? I'm not really too entirely sure on that. That kind of surprised me on a level.
Oh, I'd say part of it for sure is the fact that, think about it, God of War took a while to come to PC, whereas this is immediately dropping on PS5 and PC at the same time. And, excuse me, And on top of that, it's a multiplayer game. So you get to play with other people, you get to play with your friends. God of War, you can't really do that. It's more of a single player experience.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, yeah, it's a fun game, God of War, but it doesn't deliver the same kind of repeated mission sort of fun you can have, because once you do
it's
the
a
story,
single off,
it's kind of yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally understand where you're going with. But, we do have to be real. This is pause or repeat. The game's got a very bad buggy issue right now. Players around the world are taking to social media, sharing clips, also with positive reviews, as we just referenced at the top of pause or repeat. But, the crossplay element is what sells me. I love that you get to have PS5 and PC players come together. But yes, you can join along. If you have a friend online and you want to link together, you're probably not going to have buggy issues. But if you're just trying to meet randos online, it's not going to work out as well in the beginning. But because they really got to fix that.
Even on the first night that my friends and I wanted to play, I kept disconnecting halfway through the mission, and it wasn't really that fun as a result of that when that happened. But when it was working, it was fine.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
After that, they kind of fixed it, so I haven't had that issue now. But you can't, ignore the fact that did in fact happen, and for a while, a lot of people were having the same issue.
Because I like a good third-person shooter game, and I can't envision playing this game by myself alone. That's why they got to get on top of this, get the patch notes to be able to kind of fix this real soon before they even give us a potential live service scare.
Well, that's interesting that you bring up the live service, though, because yes, it is a live service, and yes, it will get updates in the future. But when it comes to monetizing that, they're not really forcing you to really pay anything, because you could technically buy the premium battle pass and earn it yourself rather than have to shill out $10 to pay for it. You can just play the game, earn the currency, which you can earn currency in missions. You can earn them through the regular battle pass, and eventually you'll get enough that you can actually just buy the battle pass without having to pull out your wallet.
Yeah, and it's so true, and I love fighting gigantic insects, everything from a red-eyed robot and so much more. You're going to have a blast wrecking havoc on Super Earth.
The robots, I would say, are scarier than the bugs. Because we were playing the bug missions for a while, then we jumped into one of the robot missions, and we were like, dude, these guys actually shoot you back. That's scary, because they can kill you from further away than these bugs can.
But I think the best way to describe this game is to hell and back, and then back for some more. You're going to have a blast. You're going to want to keep replaying this game. For me, it's a definite repeat. It's got so much potential, and kudos to the studio for allowing this game to be affordable for everybody to play. $40, I mean...
Yeah.
Someone actually gets it.
When a lot of the games that have come out this year that are $70 haven't been doing well, but then a game like this comes out and it's $40 and everyone's like, yeah, this is great, $40, I'll pay $40.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying that is, too, it's like, we're getting a lot more live service games. We reported on it last week with that. Over 500 studios are committed to creating or committing to live services. So if that's the case, and, we're going to be clowning later on patch notes, this Quadruple-A game that Ubisoft is now claiming with Skull and Bones that's been in development since 2017 when E3 was a thing, right? So that's where I have the problem with it. You expect that everybody's going to come forward, pay $70 for your game, and then we're just supposed to kind of wait around not knowing any kind of inclination of what you're going to provide for us in the future. That's a major problem, and I feel like you're going to convince the gamer like myself that's already convinced that, okay, let me fork down $40. If I'm having fun and I'm engaging with this, for a good 3-month cycle, and more expansions start to arise, then I'm willing to give you that extra $30 to fulfill that full-fledged experiment. But other than that, the likes of like Suicide Squad and many others to come, it's disheartening. So this is a very, very good kudos to the team that created Helldivers 2. And I've never played the first one. In mind.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
it
either.
makes me want to check it out, because this is such a great anticipation for hopefully more studios to pursue, because it's an incredible game.
No, definitely. And I'm excited to see where they take it, because they've already got plans to update it with another faction of enemies. And I think even just the fact that you have so much to do as is says that I'm going to be playing this game for a while, which means, yes, this is a repeat for me as well.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So you, the gamers, you heard from both HenricK the Wreck and I. It is a repeat. You're definitely going to want to jump on this game while the hype is very much real at the top of the year of the Mamba. It's 2024 after all. But guys, we have so much more to discuss here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So you ready to rock and roll, HenricK the Wreck?
Absolutely. Let's get it.
All right, rock and roll. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Skull and Bones, the game that has been in production so long it practically became a myth. It's almost like a pirate's tale. Has caused a ruckus before launch. Despite very much being billed as a live, ongoing game, Skull and Bones is charging $70 up front. Then the game will add its microtransactions and battle passes and such on top of that as time goes on. What the hell does that even mean? We don't know. But this prompted a question posed to the Ubisoft CEO about why they were doing this instead of maybe broadening their player base by maybe offering a free-to-play game. Well, here is his response. You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game, he said. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full quadruple-A game that will deliver in the long run. So, as you can clearly see from that comment alone, you can only imagine gamers online had a hard time understanding the notion of a vast and complete game, and in the next sentence stating it will deliver in the long run. So let's go ahead and read the comments. Charge more than 60 smeckaroos for your game, and I won't buy. Simple as. I'm with you. If you're doing a live service, I'm kind of coming to that agreement. It's got to be $40. $40,
Yeah,
and then I'll invest the extra 30.
You're gonna make all the money back from all your microtransactions anyways.
Exactly. Come on, gamers, stick together. $40, and then we'll pursue the 30 if you actually deserve it. You can't call something a quadruple-A game just because you spent an ungodly amount of money rebooting it multiple times because you kept trying to make a shitty live service game that no one wants. Translation: this game is going to bomb, and we are just trying to recoup as much of our losses as possible. Make a promise then. If you have to issue a hotfix or patch within a week of official release, anyone who purchased it gets a full refund and keeps the game. That's a real quadruple game. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But maybe they can offer something in return. Damn, so it's quadruple ass.
That's a clever one.
That's a clever one. I like that. Had zero intentions or playing any Ubisoft title in the foreseeable future. So people are really hating on this right now, HenricK. My first reaction was when Grand Theft Auto 6 eventually comes out, will that be called a Cinco 8? like, what are we doing? But it's not only Ubisoft who doesn't see the problem with charging $70 up front for a live service game, but there are a few that are successful at the top. Being a full AAA game, not a quadruple-A game. But where do you stand by this? Like, how are you feeling?
I mean, it's just wild to me that, especially this game, they took so long and made so much of a discourse about how long it was taking, because clearly this game was in development hell for the longest time. And I'm sure that didn't help their budgeting for it, because, as one of the comments said, the longer you take for a game to be developed, the more money that has to go into, because you have to pay people the whole time. But anyways, they could have easily just taken the ship parts of Assassin's Creed Black Flag,
That's so
turn
funny.
that
You
into a full-on
just took the
game,
words out of my mouth.
and that
bro.
would have been fine.
You just literally took the words out of my mouth, because that's like, I'm having a hard time seeing a pirate ship combat game come anywhere close to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and now you're bringing it into this kind of like open world immersive experience. And yeah, I've seen the gameplay. It looks pretty bitchin'. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are definitely a lot of things that you could do to kind of have different stylistic combating approaches when it comes to your pirate ship, but just in the long run, you know, you're getting a lot of live service games. Again, we discussed this last week in Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. For anybody that missed that episode, over 500 studios are committed to creating live service games. So Ubisoft, you're in for some competition, my friend. And so
yeah, and they're all vying for your attention. When a live service is out, it really doesn't want you to play anything else but that.
Exactly.
So it's going to have a bunch of things that are going to give you FOMO, limited time events, limited time cosmetics, a battle pass that's on a time limit as well. This is all just like usual things for a live service that are designed in a way where it's like, oh, okay, I have to spend money now. I have to play this game. If I don't play this game, and if you spend money on it, then you have to play the game because you have to get your value out of it. Because if you go play another game and don't finish your battle pass, but you paid for the battle pass, that $10, $20, however much it was, kind of goes to waste.
It does, and there's a reason why, you know, you're getting major media companies of the likes of Disney, who put $1.5 billion equity stake into Epic Games, because they realize the impact that Epic has created around the Fortnite universe, and they want to be a part of it. So you're going up against Disney, and that's going to be a very, very tough battle, especially considering how they're probably watching with very close eyes. They're looking at this. Don't be surprised if a Pirates of the Caribbean game comes. I mean, there's already rumors that they want to relaunch the movie franchise and make a sixth title, you know? So these are all great ideas that they would love to pursue. I mean, even Fortnite, I mean, they've had cars before, they've had airplanes. What if they start doing water battles? I don't know. You get the idea. So there's going to be a lot of competition, and we'll see whether this becomes a quadruple-A game that everybody needs to pursue or not. But trust me, this will be a video game on our pause or repeat radar. So we will give it some time. Obviously, we'll have some fun with it, right, HenrikK? Because a live service game is very big, where you're not going to be able to fully grasp it within a week. But we will definitely have that review coming your guys' way. But I think this is a perfect segue to go into the next topic of conversation, because this kind of, some people are celebrating it. Some people feel like it's promising, and some people feel like, yo, you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. So break it down, HenrikK.
All right, I'm a big Halo fan, so I was excited when the Halo TV series was first announced, and now it's season 2. And Halo has set the reset button for its second season after significantly deviating from the source material. Paramount Plus's Halo TV series set up the iconic Fall of Reach in Season 2 for a renewed focus on the war between the Covenant and the UNSC. Gamers across the world reacted to the Season 2 opener with releases of not 1, but 2 brand new episodes with the following comments.
Yeah, let's break it down. They really ramped up these combat scenes in Season 2. This was fire. This was pretty promising,
it was good.
I'm not going to lie.
I am glad that they did a combat scene very early in the first episode, because that is what the first season lacked.
Yeah, no more soap operas. This isn't House of Cards. This is Halo.
Yeah.
Halo Season 2 is an improvement, but is still marred by unnecessary and boring filler secondary characters and plots. The show needs to focus on Master Chief, Silver Team, the Fall of Reach, and finally getting a foot on the ring. Then it may actually truly shine. Hey, man, haven't you heard? HBO's The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be essentially broken into 2 different seasons. They got to kind of slowly groom into things, all right? All they had to do was cut Quan and her unnecessary side plot that adds nothing to the main story, and the show would be 100% better. Literally everyone is in agreement her character and plot sucks, and it is dragging down the series. I don't remember anything from the first 2 episodes with her involved, but I'm sure she's going to be coming back. But I kind of got what they were trying to do.
She's in there for like 5-10 minutes
Well,
in total.
Exactly. And, but in season 1, her character's really, it didn't work for me, but what they're trying to do is it's like, just because you're a part of the UNSC, there's got to be other outside humans that just don't vibe with that military.
They're trying to show that perspective from outside of the UNSC, like you're saying.
Exactly. Whether it hit, definitely missed, it's there. Whoever's talking shit about #Halo this series, 1, you are not a gamer if you hadn't any emotion during the first 16 minutes on the first episode of season 2. Number 2, you haven't played Halo a single time if you feel bored. Stop it, girl. Stop playing with my heart like that. Number 3, you talk only because you were behind a screen. Shut the hell up. No, that number 2 you're going to lose a lot of people in your argument, but I hear you. The first 16 minutes was great. I did it. ... I watched episodes 1 and 2 of #Halo this series. It's exactly what you'd expect after the first season. They have learned nothing, idiots. And last, that opening scene to season 2, episode 1 is sublime. So everybody's pretty 50-50 when it comes to this, HenricK. It's certainly evident that across the first 2 episodes that there's potential for improvement, but is it a soft reboot, I guess? Do you view it like that, or is it really kind of tantamount to rearranging the furniture on a sinking ship?
Yeah, it's really weird, in my opinion, for them to be saying that it's a reboot, because you're still pursuing the same storylines, side storylines rather, that the first season kind of already addressed, like
without giving a whole lot. I'm assuming you're talking about the last minute in episode 2.
Yeah.
For people so don't say too much, because there's probably people online or here tuning into Rage Quit that haven't seen it yet, but you'll know what we're talking about once you get there.
An actual reboot would have been scrap everything, start fresh. We messed up. Let's focus on a storyline that's actually been told in the games and the books previously. And hey, at least they are bringing in and building up to the fall of Reach. But I'm going to say probably by the end of the season, me and a lot of the people who played Halo Reach are going to say, just go play Halo Reach.
Yeah, because I know even the actor Pablo that plays Master Chief, he's very excited. He's spoken with Variety and Vox and a lot of other different, cinematic television outlets, and he's really trying to emphasize that it's gonna be a
Why would you not be
season.
Excited to be playing Master Chief?
Well, absolutely, and he keeps getting asked the same cliche. Hey, people have called you Master Cheeks in the past. They had that really cringy sex scene that was very unnecessary, along with, the whole drama, on a level when it came to why did you even remove the helmet in the first place? Why did you feel like we needed that quote unquote human connection when we had not 1, not 2, but 3 different games where Master Chief never took off the helmet? And we're seeing shows like Pedro Pascal's The Mandalorian, and they made it work out. Why did Paramount Plus feel like that was necessary?
And you know what? To bring up the helmet argument just briefly, we did have a talk about that on air about like, hey, why are they doing this? Like, are they basically ignoring the fact that there's 6+ games in the franchise where the main character doesn't take off their helmet at all, and you're still able to emotionally connect with them as the audience? I will say, though, in the first 2 episodes, at least so far, I didn't really mind it as much compared to the first season, because the first season, it really felt like he just was taking it off just because he could.
Yeah,
In
right,
this one,
exactly.
at least he's taking it off because he's not in his armor.
That's true. That is actually a good catch that you are bringing up. And, I have to give some credit. I'm kind of curious on where the silver team's going to go. That was kind of a cool element that I'm starting to notice in season 2. And I'm hoping that with the further storytelling in this new season that they really further pursue that. But, behind the scenes, I think it is important to let gamers and viewers know that, Paramount is definitely having a reshift when it comes to the workforce behind there. They laid off over 800 employees this week. And when you see over 800 employees get laid off from Paramount, there is a lot of outlets out there that are saying that Paramount, which is with CBS Interactive, Paramount Columbia Pictures, they could be in the works to potentially sell Paramount. And there are rumors that Warner Brothers is looking at this. And so if Warner Brothers is looking at this, and let's say Warner Brothers does pick up Paramount, we're just having some fun here. If this season 2 doesn't become successful and Warner Brothers or someone else picks up Halo, would you want to pursue a season 3, or would you re-scrap it and go straight for the ring?
I would say at that point they have the opportunity to actually redo everything and actually have a proper reboot, because they'd have a different studio behind them at that point. We'll really have to see how this season goes, because, I mean, like you said, it really is up to this season to show that it actually is headed in the right direction and does go in the right direction by the end of the season. At the end of the day, though, it's still airing, so we kind of, are trying to...
Well, I mean, Warner Brothers has already kind of, said already that, they're going to be releasing Batman Part 2 and, James Gunn's Batman around the same year. So we've never seen something like that before. And, you already see with like Madam Web, for example, we've already like Spider-Man, the animation came out last year. Everybody's really gravitating towards that. It did somewhat well, I guess, being celebrated for the music and so on. But, when people have their fixation on one studio and one approach on what Spider-Man should be told, right? Then you go and see this CW style approach of Madam Web that's not even out yet, and it's already getting bombed badly. I think I saw a 15% on Rotten Tomato. It's gonna be interesting to know whether if this thing dies, whether a Halo should even be pursued again on the cinematic screen. But you, the gamers, let us know what's good. Are you guys vibing with the first 2 episodes so far when it comes to Halo Season 2, the TV series? Let us know what's good. But I think this is a good time. I didn't even think that this was such a big drama. I guess this is some kind of discourse that keeps coming year after year. And HenricK sent it my way.
What's going on with yellow paint?
Well, it's funny because you sent this my way, and I didn't realize that this would be such a big story until it started showing up on my Google News in the top 5. And let me let you guys know what's good, because with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo in full swing on the PlayStation 5, the use of the yellow paint to mark certain in-game objects or ledges has sparked, yet again, another debate online. Gamers just don't want to be told what to do. I don't know about you. I watched your stream last week. You could have used a few yellow paints.
Hey, I have said before on my personal stream and on here, puzzles, I'm not good at puzzles.
Oh, so you're going to admit that you need some yellow paint before we start showing the comments, or...
Hey, I will take the L that it took me 20 minutes for that puzzle, okay?
Because you know where I'm going with this, right?
Yes. I
Sounds
think
like
I
a skill issue.
Skill issue.
I got you this time. See, it's not always me all the time. So let's go into the comments. People defending yellow paint when one of the best-selling games the last decade encouraged exploration by simply having something peeking over the horizon at any given moment. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, right? You had the wind breeze kind of guiding you in the direction. That's a good thought. I like that. Something I've noticed regarding people who defend yellow paint in video games. Oh, this looks pretty obnoxious and out of place. You don't like the yellow paint? Deal with it. Gamers are stupid. Need I remind you that? Insert another game here. Okay, let's say Helldivers 2 had to guide playtesters with methods better than yellow paint. Players need the hand holding. Yeah, I do. I like it. I don't know what everybody's issue is with this, but level designers before. Let's use distinctive geometry, different textures and colors, landmarks and light cues to let players know where to go. Level designers now. Whoa, just put a yellow paint and arrows, bro. Hasn't literally all playtesting found that the visual compromise being made here is better for the game flow for all players? ? Less time spent looking for the route, even if you aren't visually impaired. In games where you're doing this stuff a lot, it smoothens the experience. The thing that I just don't get is Assassin's Creed managed to do this 15 years ago. God damn, Ubisoft. Actually, scratch that. 20 years ago, Prince of Persia had clearly readable visual designs for where to climb. Uba dogshit overload UI soft can do it. Why nobody else? Oh no, accessibility settings for those who may be visually impaired that break your immersion in a game where you travel with the talking lion. Oh, the horror. So a lot of people are being
it's not
sarcastic.
settings. It's a default, and you can't change it.
Okay. Well, this was the image in question. This is the image that flustered so many people. So like a comet returning for another scheduled pass by Earth, the yellow paint debate has once again led to endless takes, jokes, debates, threads, opinions, and so much more. So this is where I throw it back to HenricK. What is it about paint splotches on rocks or doors that break people's brains? Let me know. I'm having a very, very hard time understanding this discourse.
Well, I think what's happening now is we're getting to the point in games where the fidelity for things can be so high. For every little detail, you can have high quality textures and models. But as a result of that, when people play test games, they might get a little lost because they don't know what's actually the pathway to go forward and what's just background scenery. And that's why now they're starting to mark things. Their classic example was also last year when Resident Evil 4 Remake came out. They marked the breakable boxes with red or yellow X's and the ladders that you could climb with yellow paint as well. And it's like, I get it. Like one of those comments said, it's going to help everyone kind of not have to think about where to go and what to break and whatever it is used for. But at the same time, there's better ways of doing it that doesn't have to be so blatantly game design, more of like, here, there's a contextual
but I'm having a hard time, like, what are the better ways? Would you prefer, like, a Far Cry approach where you let a little hanging rope next to the ladder, and you're like, oh, that's the rope. I keep seeing a rope on the top of...
When you get introduced to mechanics in games, like, say if, the rope thing, say if you have a mechanic in the game where it's heavily focusing on you swinging on a rope. You don't need to mark ropes because most of the ropes you're going to put in are going to be able to be swung on. So at that point, you don't need to mark it with you. Like, outside of visual clarity, you can just put it in a place where it's visually seen and not in the dark corner of the room or something like that.
Okay, because I'm starting to get a little concerned here because I'm starting to feel like, just listening to you right now, HenricK, I'm getting this vibe that you play Grand Theft Auto 5 online and you stop at every red light, right?
What?
Because you see the red light. No. Oh, okay, because they're trying to give you direction. You sure you don't want to take the offer?
I'm sure. I mean, I'm not someone who gets, like, absolutely upset like some people are getting about this, but at the same time, it's like, dude, think about this.
So you think the developers have gotten really lazy? Has it gotten that? Is it bad?
It's like a bit of a cop out. Yeah.
It's a cop-out. Well, hey, we definitely, there are agreements and disagreements between both HenricK the Wreck and I, but we definitely want to know from you gamers. Is the yellow paint just need to go? Or is that long from the past? I mean, this almost reminds me of when you're squeezing through little tiny corridors, It's almost like the same thing. Everybody kind of does this kind of same cliche over and over and over again. So let us know what's good. Is it just tacky? Do we need to move on? Let us know. But hey, HenricK, set the tone. This one, man, woo! This kind of felt spicy on a level.
Yeah, so just over a year after the nail was put in E3's coffin, media company IGN has revealed plans to launch its own in-person, quote, consumer experience, targeting the gaming community. IGN Live, which will kick off this summer in June, is a 3-day event that will unite the best of gaming and entertainment with creators, developers, publishers, journalists, and influencers from around the world in Los Angeles. Gamers were quick to express their feelings online with the following comments.
That's right. So the first one here is from Ryan, who does work with IGN, and he wanted to clarify it never made sense that E3 never had proper fan access. So IGN is going to try and fix that now that E3 is dead. Announcing IGN Live, an in-person event in Los Angeles this June. We're not aiming to replace E3, parentheses, yet, with exclamation mark, but it's gonna be fun. Join us. And some people always used to kind of clown at this tweet and said, like, "Whoa, listen, like E3 was a trade show. It's not a fan event." Well, clearly IGN felt like that was not the way to go. So here are the rest of the comments from fans online. Ben wrote, "This sounds awesome. It generally sounds like IGN is trying to restore E3 themselves. Keep this up. We really need physical events back. I'd love to attend a Microsoft/Sony show in LA someday. Always been a dream." Y'all gonna tell me in real life how much you hate Suicide Squad at this event?
They're gonna go find the reviewers that put 7s on their favorite game and go be like, "Why'd you put a 7?"
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, deodorant is required, guys and girls. That'll be fun. Will your union get a booth? Yeah, and that was, that's a good point because, last week, a good majority, I think about 80 employees from IGN are calling for Laszlo, the owner of IGN, to create a union amongst the employees. And so they are calling for better pay, better health care, better time of leave. You get the drill. And last, I rate this event a 7 out of 10. So, HenricK, this is fascinating to know that E3 isn't even cold yet. And just 2 months after the death of the world's biggest gaming event, IGN is ready to create the new go-to gathering of the year for gamers. What do you make of this? Feels like they're going to have some competition.
Oh, yeah, they'll definitely have competition that's already out there. But, I mean, at the same time, I respect them trying to do this because it's a big undertaking, especially if they're trying to get fans involved as well. I mean, we already see how blown up other big conventions like Comic-Con are and how hard they are to get into as a fan. So will it be the same sort of thing in a few years?
That's a good point too, because I went on the website and they have only just wrote so far that it's going to go to a quote unquote iconic venue. What does that mean? Are you guys going to go to Club Nokia? Are you guys going to bring it to the convention center? Because if you brought it to the convention center, that's going to be way more promising to be able to bring a shit ton of gamers into one environment.
The LA one?
The LA one. Well, yeah, because they're doing it in Los Angeles. So yeah,
true. It's just I feel like based on how big some conventions are, like Anime Expo, for example. I mean, the classic line about Anime Expo is that you go there and you're going to be smelling people because there's no space in the big foyer to walk anywhere.
It's a convention.
So will it be the same?
Right?
I don't know. It depends on how much this pops off or if it even does in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, I think a lot of gamers are missing that kind of exposure. The pandemic has really killed it, and then we got out of it, and then we still didn't really kind of have that. And you see this success when it comes to the Game Awards, and that's Jeff Keighley. And I think people need to realize that, he helped the ESA and E3, and he now runs both the Game Awards and Summer Game Fest. And they got to consider that the largest gaming conference in the world that they have to compete with is Gamescom. But you do have a media company like IGN that's gravitated to such a young audience core, which this could be promising. But is there something that they need to do outside of the rest of these festivals that are different? Have you thought about that, HenricK? I mean, because trailers are cool and all, but we're hearing, reports. I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but we're hearing reports that, Sony, for example, is not dropping any first party exclusive games this year. So that could be detrimental. And I know that's not going to happen every year, but what are they going to do that's going to stand out way different than Summer Game Fest or Gamescom, for example?
Well, a big thing would be actually get the developers that haven't been at trade shows in a long time get them to actually come. We haven't seen Nintendo, for example, really have a spot on the show floors in forever. They've just been doing their own thing. Work with them and get them to come over, because, you know, there's always great moments whenever you get to not only see trailers, but you get to also, you know, experience a full-on booth from the developers of these games and kind of maybe even try.
Well, that might come a lot sooner than you think, HenricK, because, you know, there is that much anticipated Xbox business call / meeting / podcast, you know, where the 3 top leaders of Xbox and Microsoft are going to discuss their further plans for the future. And what ironically lands tomorrow, do you know, HenricK? You should know.
What?
With the Nintendo Direct's coming.
Oh,
why are they landing on the same day?
We'll see.
I wonder. We'll see.
But I mean, people always speculate what Nintendo Direct is going to show, and sometimes it never really actually does what they expect. But
you know, I'll throw it out here. I think when it comes to Nintendo, they're going to be releasing their Nintendo Switch 2 a little bit sooner than most you know, reports are reporting. And I'll also go as further as to say, with the new hardware, you are going to get a good, well, maybe some of the smaller end Xbox exclusives coming to Nintendo. That is what I'm predicting. And I think that's why, with the topic we're going to be talking about, should we just go to it?
Yeah, what's next? So, Chris, you got a PS5 recently, finally.
I did, finally.
There's some bad news for you, clearly.
And this is a great segue, because I literally had a buddy come over. We had a great time during Super Bowl Sunday, and he looks at this thing, okay? He looks at this beautiful PS5 controller, and he goes, "Man, I've never seen one of these before." And I go, "What? You've never seen one of these before?" "Yeah, I've never seen the PS5 console in person." "You're kidding me, right?" Well, unfortunately for PlayStation 5 gamers, Sony will not be releasing any major first-party games at the level of God of War Ragnarok or Marvel's Spider-Man 2 for this coming physical year. The PS5's full potential has yet to be experienced by players, even my friends. Yet, Sony has confirmed that PlayStation 5 is entering the latter stage of its life cycle. The latter stage? For 2 years, people had a hard time even buying this shit from freaking robots, oh god, let alone the pandemic, and now we're on the latter stage, and now we're not going to drop anything. Oh my gosh. Well, let's let the comments speak for themselves. The first one we got here is Xbox PS5. It's all trash. Everyone knows that the best is methamphetamine. No, god.
Now that is an experience.
That
I'm
is
sure.
experience.
Can't say from experience, but I'm sure it's an experience.
I'm sure that's what the OGs refer to as VR.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're finally starting to see the effects of the pandemic after all. This year's been rather slow for gaming. It really does start to feel like that, especially when, you know, games are spending $200 to $300 million on these AAA games, and now they have to fire a bunch of people and etc. It's crazy.
Yep.
Well, damn. GTA 6 gonna be out by then. Nobody's gonna care anyways. Oh, so that would be the last. Well, that would be a third-party exclusive, by the way. It wouldn't be a first-party exclusive. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. Crazy how it seems like PlayStation really made PS5 as the generation of remastering the last generation games. So far, most of the games they've been releasing are remakes or remastered that are unneeded. And this is coming from a fanboy who owns the PS5 and the PS Portal. Hopefully, they do announce new stuff that aren't remakes. The worst part is they're already saying the PS5 is in the latter stage of its life already. Tell me about it. Golly, this is just so infuriating. And you're right. It has been just a bunch of remasters and remakes. And no existing franchises doesn't rule out new IPs, which is what a lot of the developers are working on at the moment. Yes, that is a very, very good point to highlight, because while Sony's 2024 slate is looking thin, when it comes to first-party exclusives, there are still PS5 exclusive games on the way for the platforms thanks to third-party publishers. We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Rise of Ronin, and Stellar Blade releasing within the next 3 months. But what does that entail? After that, we really don't know. And so this got me thinking, Henrik, are they really going to pursue another console like some reports keep talking about, a PS6? Or is this a hard reset to strategically plan for the future of cloud gaming?
I think as of right now, yes, probably cloud gaming is their focus for the future. So is the same thing with Xbox, I'm sure. But it would really be a stupid idea for them to decide all of a sudden, in the next couple years, we're not going to release a console. Because then it leaves people with the option of like, okay, what do I do if I want to play a game? Do I just buy another PS5 for my buddy and we can play? Or do we like...
Well, maybe because they realized from the last...
switch over to PC? Because the jump between a console to a PC, actually a decent competent one, you're looking at probably double the cost of a console.
Yeah, but it won't be just reserved for just PC. I mean, these smart TVs are getting really, really good. You got Amazon Luna, you got Netflix, you even had Rockstar Games even come out and go, gosh, man, this experiment's been freaking incredible. We want to stick with Netflix. What does that tell you when Rockstar Games is saying, we want to further this collaboration with Netflix? And then you got Epic Games getting an equity stake from Disney, $1.5 billion. And also today we had the Sony CEO also further say we're focusing on live service games. So when I hear live service games, and I've seen over 500 studios saying this, it just makes me feel like, especially knowing the last 4 years, the first two, for example, being really, really hard to get a console, and then the pandemic occurred, maybe Sony's finally realizing, like, look, maybe people don't want to fork in $600 for a console, $550. They don't want to do that, let alone have to keep replacing their console every 6 or 7 years, because this was kind of like kind of a moment. Do people realize that the PS4 had a cycle of about 7 years? Came out in 2013. It kind of throws me off, but I know you were about to say something, HenricK. Go ahead.
I mean, you're kind of saying that they're just going to replace the console with a subscription model. The thing is, I don't think that people really want to do that just yet.
Really? Because the reason why, because from the last topic we were discussing, when it comes to, I was kind of referencing that Xbox is going to be doing a podcast tomorrow, and it happens to land on the same day that Nintendo Direct's going down. You don't think that Nintendo and Xbox are kind of coming together and going, hey, listen, look, we're going to start to come together and start releasing some of our exclusive games all together, because we realize if we don't do this together, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, these major cinematic and television, or just freaking Amazon and Google and Apple, they're going to take us out of business. And then all these studios are not going to come directly with us. They're just going to bypass us. And what? We're going to only have the indie game market?
Well, like, putting everything aside, I mean, getting rid of the console and just saying we're just going to do subscription-based model moving forward, just log in on your TV or your smartphone or whatever you're going to play on, and there you have your games. I'm not sure people really are going to take that nicely. Like, the big fans of the PlayStation, they're gonna riot if that comes out in the next couple of years, because... Well,
you'll probably riot if you don't have the right latency.
There's still so many people that want to have a physical console and physical games, even, because we see it all the time, Chris. We see it all the time that things get pulled off streaming services because they don't want to pay for the licensing anymore, or they get removed completely off of the internet, and you don't have any way to access playing anything anymore from that, like a movie or a television series or whatever it is, for whatever reason, because they decide, oh, well, no one's actually watching this.
But so, HenricK, you really think that's an issue? You really think that's an issue with our generation? Come on, man. We lived in a generation that's been on Apple Music and Spotify, for example. We have Netflix, we have Disney Plus, we have Hulu,
a month
we have Paramount Plus. People are willing to not buy physical copies anymore, and they're just willing to give their dollar bill up forward because no one collects physical goods no more.
Another subscription on top of, think about it, Spotify or Apple Music, depending on which one you use. Netflix, maybe another of the streaming services, and then another $20 or however much they want to charge for a gaming subscription. I think it's getting to the point that people in general right now are getting sick and tired of subscription models. I see it all the time.
Yeah, I guess
people
trust
come and they're
me.
like, I want Photoshop. And
Oh,
I'm like,
absolutely.
Well,
Trust
to
me.
get Photoshop, you got to use their subscription model. Sorry.
No, true. No,
They suck.
I'm 110%. I'm with you. I understand. I know people are frustrated, but what I'm trying to tell you and the rest of the gamers that are tuning in to Rage Quit, don't underestimate the power of Amazon, Google, and Apple. I mean, we watched those companies essentially buy out Hollywood studios, okay? It's insane how fast that moved. So don't be surprised when the gaming sector completely flips upside down. And from what we grew up as knowing, Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo as being the dominant form of delivering these games, don't be surprised when future generations have no clue on what that was. It's going to be like Atari. What's Atari? What the heck was an Atari? What was a Sega? For me, I'm like, don't be surprised. But am I outlandish? Am I speaking out of tongue? Or is HenricK onto something? Guys, let us know what's good. We definitely want to know your guys' thoughts because clearly there's going to be a rift happening. And I'm sure we're going to dive into it even further. Excuse me for the cough. But guys, we want to thank you guys again for tuning into Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And since we're near the end of the show, I want to let you guys know, go ahead and scan my QR code. You'll be able to follow me on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. I got memes, interviews, Rage Quit, and so much more. And HenricK the Wreck, you're cooking up beautiful content. Let them know what's up.
Yeah, I post memes as well as I just go over and look in some games that are in development or games that I love to play and have a recommendation for you as a result of that. Go ahead and check it out because really my channel is all about just us having fun.
Exactly.
So let's have some fun.
Yeah, some good vibes, and I know you get some few discourse in the comments.
A little bit, but
gotta love it.
Good fun.
But it's all in good fun. Those are the vibes that HenricK the Wreck gives off. Next week on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show is returning. For now, we'll see you pretty soon. Peace.
See ya.